Hey everyone, yet another video where I'm just like, me no makeup, my hair's not done, I just got out of the shower. But every time I think I have a moment and I'm like, I'm just gonna get in the shower, I'm gonna do my hair and everything. Every time something happens. So, being a mom is like a full-time job and it just takes so much of my time, which is great, but yeah, I don't have that much time to do the videos like I once had. I had so much time on my hands before. Yeah, I'm getting used to not having that time and not having me time, all that me time that I used to have. So, house chores and everything, it's just getting pushed back, but thankfully it's been 2 weeks now and I've finally been able to clean the house decently. So anyway, I'm gonna make 2 birth vlogs. So this one is going to be the positive side because there is sadly a negative side to what happened and how I was treated by the midwives and so forth. Things that I really wanted to avoid, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I chose to have a home birth, but sadly things didn't go as I hoped. Anyway, this is the positive side. So I'm going to upload I'm going to upload a video of me talking about the negative issues. I'm not sure. So sometimes I feel ready to talk about it. Sometimes I'm kind of like, not sure. But I'm going to go ahead and upload it after this one. And I don't know if, if I feel up to it, I'll just leave it, or I might put it under private. I don't know. It kind of depends how I feel, because I do go back and forth still. But anyway, okay, so without further ado. Okay, so this all began on May 9th. And the funny thing about this is that Army had said a week before, he said, I think things are going to pick up on the 9th. He was so right. So at 4 a.m. on the 9th, my water broke. I was in bed and I kind of felt that it was about to happen, and so I rolled out of bed just in time and my water broke. So we called the midwife and she came over, and after a discussion, we were just told to keep her posted because things were gonna take a while. So I had called my mom and my sister, so they came over, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna put clips of the actual moment. And sadly, I don't have many clips of when things got, pretty bad, because the midwives sadly did not allow me to continue making videos. For some reason, it upset them that I wanted to record. The funny thing is that then they recorded when Remy actually came out. They were recording, so I was like, I really wanted to make a lot more videos, but I'm just gonna post the videos that I do have as I speak about what happens. So I really don't know what to do right now. It's 5:55. I'm having contractions that make no sense. They're 7 minutes apart, 5 minutes apart, 2 minutes apart. 8:45. It's 8:45. Yeah, 8:45. We've been up since 4, so almost 5 hours. And Mom and Armando went to do a COVID test just in case we have to go to the hospital and get groceries. And Erica's with me, and she's going to do my makeup now. So my sister and I, we did makeup sessions, or better, she did my makeup. I'm just doing makeup. Okay, so it's almost 10 a.m. Contractions are much more intense, but they're 4 minutes apart, then 6 and 12, and then 4. But I'm doing fine. Remy is moving, so focus on the positive. At the time, it was really manageable. I was able to just make jokes and laugh at their jokes and dance around with my sister. Beautiful. Beauty is power, you guys. Then, around noon, my mom and my sister left because I was like, the contractions are really far apart. Just go home and rest because, I'll just call you when things, progress. So anyway, so Army and I, we had a real nice time together. We watched funny videos, and he made me my favorite pasta sauce, and we just we're here in the bedroom just chilling and doing anything that to give us, a peaceful sense. I just now noticed a part of my hair sticking out, whatever. I had a really bad contraction. It lasted a minute and 20. Then another midwife came because I had 2 midwives. Another one came and just checked how I was doing, and things were still pretty slow. So anyway, she left. I'm going to walk and talk and anything to relax myself. So I was just waiting for the famous 511 moment. A contraction every 5 minutes that lasts 1 minute for an hour. Okay, that never came. All of a sudden, I was 10 minutes apart, and all of a sudden it went all the way down to 2 minutes apart. and sometimes even 1 minute apart. So, and they got really bad really fast. So it was like super manageable, and all of a sudden, boom, horrible, and it was a lot more painful than I expected. 6:50. Contractions are very painful. Thank God they don't last over a minute and 15 seconds, so at least that. But yeah, very intense right now. I just continued to do whatever made me feel better of how to manage these contractions, which for me was walking around my living room and doing circular motions, but standing up. I had a birthing ball, but I just didn't feel any better sitting down. So yeah, I wasn't able to lie down or sit down anymore. When I did, I just felt like full contraction, like all the pain all together. It was like super concentrated. Whereas when I was walking around, it was like a lot more easier. Fast forward, it was late at night. Several hours had gone by, and I just felt the urge to push. And they did not check how much I was dilated. When I said I was ready to push, they just asked me where I wanted to give birth, and at the time I was going to give it on the couch. They set that up, and I just remember I told Army to call my mom and sister to let them come over. And I just remember when they came that I was like bent over on the couch in the position that I was hoping to give birth in. And, you know, in my head I was like, okay, it's going to be an hour. At the most, it's going to be 3 hours. You can make it. Okay, I was saying I could make it. At the same time, I was like, in my head, I was like, but I really can't, because the contractions were super, super painful. The most precious thing about all this is, you know, okay, I was really suffering, but Army was like, you know, there with me, and I mean, he was just super present. What made me feel better actually was I have this video where I'm like sitting down in one of the several positions they had me try to give birth in. I was sitting down, and he was sitting behind me, and I just like wrapped my hands around his neck, and for some reason that made the contractions more manageable. I don't know why, but just gripping onto him like that, it really helped me get through the contractions. So things were going a lot slower than we thought. The total time of the pushing phase was 7 hours. I was not expecting that. And also, so I'm not a screamer. I do not scream when I'm in pain. I kind of just bear with it in silence and concentrate on my breathing. So all of a sudden, one of the midwives told me that I would have to scream, and if I didn't scream, the baby wouldn't come out. I don't know if that's true or not. But anyway, and so I told her that I don't really scream, and for some reason it was difficult for me to scream, simply because maybe I was not used to it, and I didn't even know I could scream as loud as I did scream. And when I hear it, it actually still scares me, because I mean, I'm just not used to hearing myself scream. Anyway, so we tried in several positions, and all of a sudden they said, you know what, we're gonna have to do this in your bedroom on the bed, and that was something I didn't really want to do for gravity reasons. But anyway, we ended up coming in the bedroom and pushing, and then they said, okay, this is not working, let's do squatting position. So I would squat, and that didn't work either. And all this, you know, I'm just like screaming my head off, and they're suggesting all these things to me that I just really didn't, I don't know, they told me to scream the baby's name, for example, and maybe it does help some. For me, the funny thing was that I said, you know what, I'm just going to do this, because it didn't come natural to me to shout my baby's name while I was having a contraction, but I just said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I gave it my all, and then she said, yeah, nothing happened. So I'm like, anyway, so I was in so much pain, and my mom and sister were in the living room at that time. They wanted to be present, but the midwives, I guess, since things were taking so long, they didn't let them come in the bedroom. I'm not sure why, but anyway, so push, and finally, she said, we can see the head. Well, actually, she said that we could see the head several hours before, but then she said, maybe it wasn't the head. I was like, how could you, like, what do you mean that maybe that wasn't the head? Whatever. So anyway, finally we could see the head, and I am so happy that I documented myself, because people say that I'm exaggerated, and maybe I am, but I prefer to know everything that could happen and prepare for anything, rather than just see the most common things that could happen. Anyway, so I pretty much knew, for example, as he was coming out, this burning sensation was so intense, but I knew that that was going to happen. So even if it did happen, I was like, it's normal, it's fine. Whereas if I didn't know, I think they call it the Ring of Fire, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, if I had not known that that was part of the experience, I would have freaked out. But I didn't. And, once I felt the head, I was like, okay, I've seen so many videos about this. Once the head's out, the rest is just, So I said, I'm just going to give it my all. And I don't know how I was able to do that, simply because I hadn't slept 4 nights prior to this moment because of my acid reflux and my sciatic nerve and everything. But anyway, I did give it my all, and I felt the head out. And so I said, this is it. And it was. The rest of the thing was super easy. I just gave one more final push and boom, the body was out. They put him on my chest, and I just couldn't believe my eyes. I mean, he was perfect. He was perfect. He was my baby, and it was just, one of those moments that you're just gonna live once, at least with per child. It was. And Army cried, obviously, because, I mean, for him, it was, emotional. The baby was finally here, and he had seen me suffer for those 7 long hours. I mean, all the hours prior to the pushing phase, but, that was, super intense. He had never heard me scream before either, so, hearing me in such distress was very hard for him. I'm imagining, what was going through his head and all the emotions he was feeling, but we both cried. But I was just so happy. I just couldn't believe that he was with us, and he was beautiful. I mean, he is beautiful, but that moment, that first moment, I was just like, wow. And his eyes, and when, he looked up at me, and I was just like, I was so emotional. My voice was trembling a little bit because, I was just so happy. And anyway, then they said that they were going to tug on the umbilical cord to get the placenta out. And when they did that, it hurt like crazy. I was not expecting that, because my mom and my sister had come in to see the baby, and I asked my mom, and I said, does the placenta hurt? Because that's next. She said, in my experience, it didn't hurt. So, and so I'm just like, oh, okay, good. But it did hurt. And it kind of felt like it was still attached, inside there. And so when she tugged it out, it was super painful. Oh, something to be said really quick. During the pushing phase, so I had this problem, this issue, which was I had this never-ending contraction, and when I pushed during, it was I had a contraction that never ended, and then I had another contraction to push, and I don't know if that makes sense or if anyone else had this experience, but pushing was super hard because that was the pain that hurt the most. They were like, are you afraid to, tear everything? And that really wasn't the issue. The issue was this sharp, intense pain in my lower abdomen. I mean, it just hurt like crazy. So that also made things even more complicated, and the midwives to this day still don't know why that happened. They weren't able to give me an explanation. But anyway, so going back to the placenta, I'm going to talk a little more about this in the video about the negative side of this experience, but I'm just going to say that it finally came out, and then I did tear, but surprisingly, I didn't even get to a 2nd-degree tear. It was in between, a little over the 1st-degree tear, but not yet a 2nd-degree tear. And the midwives themselves, they were like, I can't believe this, because Remy had a pretty big head, and I had been pushing for 7 hours. But yeah, it was just a little tear compared to what we were expecting, and I did have to get stitches, but it was finally over. So all this time, after he was born, I was just thinking, I just need to get through this. And so when we were doing certain things, for example, the stitches, I was like, Sarah, it'll be over in half an hour. Within half an hour, this will be over. And I would just do these little things in my head, because I was like, I need to get back to my baby. Finally, the midwives left, and that was such a great moment, out of the house. And so I could just be with my family and my little Remy. And it was just a great experience. And in the videos, I look horrible. I feel really bad that I look that way in the videos, because, it would have been nice to look a little better, but I just ended up not caring after a while. I was just like, what, I just want the baby. I don't really care about having makeup or having my hair in place or whatever. So I do look horrible in the videos, but that's okay. Okay, so that is a really short version of the birth story. I'm trying to collect all the good things about it. I am happy that I had a home birth, even if things did not go like I expected them to go, but I'm very happy that I had a home birth. And to have my baby here, and I didn't have to, like stay in the hospital away from my family, and them taking Kim away to do like the tests and everything, because then they had a pediatrician come here and see him the next day. So anyway, it was just a blessed moment, and I'm so thankful to God for giving us this beautiful baby boy. And I hope to share more videos of what we're doing, what we're going through, how he's growing. Anyway, so that is the story. Half of it. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I guess until next time, mwah, bye.